Welcome back, everybody, to Gentle Dorks. And today I'm going to be starting a series of reviews about bad superhero movies. And I'm going to go through the movie, and then at the end, I'm going to decide whether they are really as bad as people remembered. So, for this one, I'm going to start with Spider Man 3. Now, don't all come at me at once. I know a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about this, and that they're so glad that Tobey Maguire got a redemption story. But is the movie really that bad? Let's get into it and really talk about if it is bad. Now, I went and I watched all these movies, the superhero movies that people say are bad, are terrible. Now, I don't know if you can see, but here is the list I've got. Now, that's 2 pages worth of superhero movies that people say are terrible. So that was a lot of watch time. But with Spider Man 3, I went back and I watched it. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as what I remembered. Yes, it was too many villains thrown into it. We only needed one villain story, we didn't need two. It was two separate movies. And I think that is why people don't enjoy it. Because you've got all that going on, plus you've got the introduction of Gwen Stacy. Then you've got the story of the person that killed Uncle Ben might not have been that person. And it's just they threw so much into the movie because they knew that they weren't going to get a fourth one. They'd already been told. And I think that's why they wanted to put as much as they could in. They wanted to have two separate stories. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't throw in the lizard into this one as well, because he was one of the villains that was going to be in one of the further movies. It's supposed to be 4 or 5, possibly 6 movies that it was going to be, and then it was going to go to a Sinister Six, but we didn't get that. The whole Venom story as well, it didn't hit right with the fans because it didn't show Venom being Venom. It showed Eddie Brock being Eddie Brock, and it showed Eddie Brock having powers with the symbiote, but it didn't show Venom as a character. Unlike the Venom movie, which has Venom as a character and it has Eddie Brock as a character. But this didn't show that. And the whole thing about Venom is that it is a dual character. It's two people, it's two separate entities. But we didn't get to see that. I mean, we got the black Spider Man suit, which was cool. But we wanted to see more of that. But we didn't get it. And, production getting cancelled and producers throwing in ideas that had to get put in because this is a last ditch attempt to possibly get another sequel. If it works out well, we can get a sequel. So if we just put this in, and Sam Raimi had already signed out, he's like, okay, I'll just do it. It didn't make the movie better. We all know my thoughts on studio interference. I hate it when studios think they know more about filmmaking. They know how to sell the movies. They know how to fund the movies. They know who to sell the movies to. They know how to market the movies. But they don't know how to make them. Studios aren't in the movie making business. They sell them and they produce them. They don't make them. And the better studios that stay out the way make fantastic movies. Usually it's independent studios. Like A24 are making tons of fantastic movies. Blumhouse is making tons of fantastic horror movies. And that's because they're staying out the way. People come to them and say, I've got this idea, I need funding, I need this, I need that. They give them it and they go, on you go. Warner Brothers are terrible. for doing this. Disney are really bad for doing it. Marvel Studios, they used to be okay, but in recent times, they have got bad at it. Sony, again, they're not good at it. They can't just stay away. They feel that they should know everything that's happening and have say in what's happening. And to a point, they should have a say about how it's going, about how their money's getting spent to make this movie, because they want to make money back from it. But their interference is what's causing a lot of movies to bomb. Now, I don't want to go into any of the other superhero movies that are on the list, because I'll get to them. And as I said, there's 2 pages worth of movies. Some of them I'll do as a full franchise, because a lot of it, people say that the franchise, that version, was bad. But I'll get back to Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were fantastic. They knew what they wanted to do. But with this one, I mean, with the Tobey Maguire dance scene, I'll probably add a gif in about that here, just to show you how terrible that was. It fit into the narrative of the movie about what the symbiote was doing to him, and it was bringing out all his negativity, all his hatred, and personifying that. I could understand why they put it in, but it wasn't needed, because they were just trying to push that the symbiote is evil and it brings people's evilness out. So when it got to Eddie Brock, who was horrible, it made his horribleness worse. And not only did it affect his personality and make him worse, it affected him physically as well, because it gave him teeth, not just the symbiote having teeth. It gave him the physical form of the symbiote, which, again, they had a budget for CGI, they wanted to use it, and that's where they done it. Personally, I don't think they should have done that, but we are where we are. So, overall, my star rating of Spider-Man 3, I'd probably give it about 3.5 out of 5, because it's not terrible. Could it have been better? Oh, definitely could have been better. Is there stuff that they could have left out? Of course there is. They could have left out the entirety of the Sandman story or the Venom story and done one or the other. Or they could have left them both out and had Mysterio, which is another plan that they had for the 4th one. But that didn't go through. But it's not a bad movie. Is it the weakest one of that franchise? Yes, by far. But it's a good, enjoyable movie if you don't think about all the inconsistencies that they've added in to the story. Try not to think about the horrible inconsistencies, especially if you're a comic book fan and you know the stories of these people. But at the end of the day, give it a go. Go rewatch it. See how you feel. It's not bad. Not good, but it's not bad. So on that note, I'll love yous and leave yous. See ya.